Hello, welcome to this episode of Tokusatsu Thursday. Today, I'm reviewing the 2004 Takashi Miike film Zebraman, which stars Takeshi Miike regular Sho Akawa, who you might recognize from the Dead or Alive films, right? And he's also been in other Takeshi Miike stuff, like that Gozu movie or Goza, the horror film about the cow, the guy with the cow-shaped head. You also have Kyoka Suzuki, Koen Kondo, Esturo Watabe, and Naoki Yasukuchi. So this is I should mention the movie's like 2 hours, and you can watch it either subbed or dubbed on Tubi, right? And this movie is kind of like an action. It's kind of like a superhero. It's a superhero film, but it's also like a parody of superhero films. And there's several visual and not like visual and then like audio or oral references, right? With they even reference Ultra Q at one point, right? And there's lots of Kamen Rider references in the movie. So this is one of those films that if you haven't seen it, right, you're probably not going to be interested in watching it, right? Uh, because of like some of the because of whatever, right? So I'm going to get you guys interested in the movie. I'm going to have to spoil the crap out of this movie, but I'll try not to spoil too much. So the movie takes place in 2010, even though the movie came out 2004, and it starts off with weird stuff happening in Japan, right? And two young men in the defense ministry get sent to this town, which I think it's Yokohama. I'm not 100% sure. I think it's Yokohama, right? And get sent to this town to investigate and look for aliens. And you have like Okawa, which is like the cool man, and like you have the other one who's kind of a nerd, right? Who's a nerdy guy, and like it's funny because they get told they're going sent there to look for aliens, and the guy's like, "What the hell? This isn't Ultra Q," right? Which is one of the first references in the movie, right? Which Ultra Q, for people who don't know, was the predecessor to Ultraman, where it was kind of like a weird sci-fi show. It was kind of like X-Files, where it was like it was basically Ultraman without the Science Patrol. You still had the giant monsters, but instead of Ultraman showing up the fight said monsters, it was just the Science Patrol or whatever they were called in that show. I never saw Ultra Q. I will at some point, especially Neo. I especially want to watch Neo Ultra Q because I hear that show is pretty good, right? Yeah. So yeah, while that's going on, the main character of the film, which is I totally forget. I think it's Ichigaya, whatever. Sho Akawa's character, right, is a geeky, depressed, middle-aged man who's working as a teacher. He's a third grade teacher who has two kids, a teenage daughter who is kind of promiscuous. She likes to go on dates with older men, and he has a young son. I think he's like 8 or something in the movie, who gets constantly bullied at school because of how much of a dork his dad is, right? And because of that, his son doesn't like to talk to him, and his wife is obviously cheating on him with other men, right? And because of because of how crappy his life is, his life is, um, he likes to dress up in his homemade costume, which is a Zebraman costume. Which Zebraman was a Tokusatsu show from the 70s. In this universe, it's not a real show, but like in this universe, it was like basically a Kamen Rider ripoff, where Zebraman fights alien monsters, right? It was like a combination of Ultraman and Kamen Rider, but the main character wasn't half human cyborg, which that was another reference to like that's another reference in the movie, right? That's obviously a reference to Kamen Rider, and they show you old show footage of the '70s show, and you can see like Kamen Rider poses and everything, right? So yeah, he likes to dress up as a superhero, right? In his crappy costume, which the helmet of the costume, right? Very like parts of the costume looks like it's fucking paper mache over like sports equipment, right? that he painted over. Right, and he has like a spandex suit that he wears under the sports section, which is funny because that reminded me of Dark Knight, Nolan's Dark Knight Returns or whatever, where he's like Batman's like, I'm not wearing hockey pads to the Batman vigilante cosplayers. Yeah. So what happens in the movie is that you have aliens that are CGI goops, like chibi CGI goop men that possess people, and those people go around killing people or whatever, right? And Zebraman, after spawning one who it's a guy in a business suit who has a crab. Wears a crab over his head, who kills women with scissors, who was dating his teenage daughter, right? He stumbles upon him and fights him and realizes that he has superpowers, right? He's super fast, high reflexes, and he can punch and kick very hard, which his special attacks in the movie, is Zebra Screw Punch and Zebra Back Kick, where he has a quote where he's like, "Don't stand behind me," and where he'll kick the shit out of you. Right? Kind of like how you can't with horses, you can get kicked behind, right? You can get kicked behind. So yeah, halfway through the movie, he realizes, right, that he's actually fighting aliens, right? Because there's a point in the movie where the alien goop possess a bunch of kids, including his son, right? Which he's able to get the goop out of him, right? While that's going on, Okawa and Sagawa, figure out where the aliens are, and they report to the boss, and the boss gets told that they're gonna drop a nuclear bomb on this town, right? And they have to seal it off, right? And there's a point in the movie where and this is where the movie gets very meta, but it gets very weird to the point where it reminded me of that comic book series I was reviewing, the Redman Kaiju Hunter, where that was like, how like that comic book sets up that that those old television shows of televised shows of Redman were actually not like a crappy TV show, but actually visions from another world. Here it's like that reminded me of that, but here it's like, oh, one of the aliens turned traitor, right? Like 30 years before the invasion plan, and actually wrote the script for Zebraman, right? And Zebraman Zebraman finds the scripts to the unaired episodes, because the show was canceled after 7 episodes, right? So he reads the scripts, finds out that he fucking died, that he'll die and the Earth will be destroyed if he doesn't fucking figure out how to fly, right? And I forgot to mention that he befriends, like, what motivated him to become a superhero is that he befriends this wheelchair kid who got transferred to his classroom, right? Which was also in the scripts. And he turns out to be an old fan of, like, well, he turned out to be a fan of the old Zebraman show, right? Yeah. So yeah, what happens is, like, the halfway through the movie, our main character Zebraman goes to train in the wilderness to figure out how to fly, right? And there's a point where, like, Okawa goes to, finds out about the nuke plan, and finds out, realizes he needs to go and find Zebraman, because Zebraman's the only hope. And where does he find him? He finds him, like, half drowning in, like, a fucking stream under a bridge, right? And he digs him up and sees him. He's all beaten up and shit. And he's like, my partner died. Some shit's going to go down. But you know what? You're beaten up. I'll take care of it. It's, like, funny that you had this thing where he's like, well, I gotta go see Zebraman. He's our last hope. And he goes there and he's like, well, he's all beaten up and shit. It's like the only fucking superhero movie I know where, like, the superhero is battle damaged before the final fight, right? Before the final fight. So, like, yeah, so we get to the final act of the film, right? The wheelchair kid, finds the old script that his mom had, because, like, Zebraman showed the scripts to them, but he didn't show them the last one. And he goes to the old school, gets kidnapped by the army of CGI goop men, right? And Zebraman goes to rescue him, right? And Zebraman's all battle damaged and all messed up. Fights the CGI goop men in the gymnasium, right? And is after losing the fight and seeing the kid in trouble, his cape turns all CGI, just like the fucking cape from Spawn. You get, like, a Spawn reference, right, in this fucking Japanese movie. And he transforms and he gets a new suit that's cooler, right? Oh my god, right? And he can glide, and it looks like Batman when Batman glides in the fucking the 80s and 90s Batman films. Right, and he fights the CGI goop men, and they all morph to transform into a giant CGI goop man. And Zebraman, after getting, a shonen friendship is power speech, right? You know what I mean, right? From the little kid who is able to will himself to stand up, right? Because, like, if you watch the movie, the reason why he's in a wheelchair, because he saw his dad commit suicide, right? And since then, he hasn't been able to walk. He gives, like, a speech, like, if you believe anything is possible, and he stands up, right? So Zebraman wills himself to fly, and then he starts to fly like Superman and fights the fucking CGI goop man. So you get, so, like, you even get, like, a Superman. There's Superman shit in the movie as well. Oh, which I could be wrong, but also I think there's a thing where, like, he saves the kid from falling, and that might have been a reference to one of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. I'm not sure. Which I am sure, like this movie. I don't think it's a coincidence that this movie came out like a year, came out after the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. Obviously, that motivated this movie to come out. So, what did I think? Let's go to my final thoughts and go into what I think about the movie. I love the movie. It's the thing where if you have a soft spot for superhero films and tokusatsu films, you're probably gonna like this movie. And if you like weird Japanese movies, you're gonna like the movie, right? And I don't know, I really like the movie. Is there like awesome action scenes? Not really, right? But it's the spirit of the thing. The spirit of the thing is fantastic. What's wrong with the movie is there's bad CGI, and the music is not the best, right? But overall, I enjoyed the movie, right? And also, I like the humor too, but like humor's subjective, so I don't know, you know. Because it's very, there's over the top humor in the movie, and there's also dry, kind of like, you know, subdued humor in the movie, which all like, oh my god. So I don't know, I like the movie, and it has its problems, but you know what? I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. Peace.